Beach FM kick-off sports breakfast show with HMC Kapiti, your local authorised Kia and Suzuki sales and service agent, and now your local AA Auto Centre. At HMC Kapiti, the journey just gets easier. Find out how easy online at hmckapiti.co.nz.
You're back on the Kickoff Sports Breakfast Show on Beach FM on 106.3. Well, we are well into the second round. It's all set and we're well into it of the NBA. And to help me talk all about it, formerly of Radio Sport Breakfast and now killing it with Marc Peard Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the whys of why I'm sitting right here today, it's Marc Peard. Kia ora, bro.
Kia ora, my man. How are we?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm relaxing. Watching the NBA basketball, I've just seen a stunning change of an entire series. Well, what could be with Boston and Toronto. It's been amazing, A, to have sports that's live back in front of our faces, and B, to just see how much it's changed. Having a bubble and having NBA teams all in one place and no home court advantages and no referee calls being swayed by home crowds screaming different things. It's been amazing, and I've been enjoying it.
No travel as well. So all in all, my first question was what you thought of it. I mean, I know your sons actually had a stellar run in the first bit of the bubble. So the whole concept, you've been impressed?
Yeah, very much so. Now, I mean, let's not forget that this was a massive investment by Disney and ESPN and the NBA. It's over $1 billion investment to get this bubble set up. So there was a lot riding on it, making sure it succeeded. And, of course, if COVID-19 had hit any of the players or any of the teams and wiped them out, that would have been the end of this NBA bubble. So, first of all, good on the NBA for doing it. Secondly, I think it's certainly thrown a spanner in the works for people who are really into the NBA and tend to watch the playoffs, especially. With the 7-game series, it's always swinging back and forth unless there's a horrendous imbalance and the teams that they don't match up well. Basically, you can guarantee the team usually wins the home games, and then it's a flick of the coin in a game 7. But it's been very, very different with the bubble because, like you mentioned earlier, there's no travel restriction. So there's no time in the year where players, have to get themselves ready to play again the next night after they've been traveling on the plane for 12 hours. Like, there's none of that in this NBA postseason, which has been great. They're all in the same place, but it's also made it very, very hard to try and pick winners. So any team that has a slightly off night, they can lose it because they're going through the same dramas, they've eaten the same food, they've slept in the same beds as their opposition, and it's just evened everything out. So I believe we'll probably have the most pure winner overall. The best team will actually come out as the winner. It's got nothing to do with the home court advantage. It's got nothing to do with referees being swayed into calls. It's literally going to be, here's hoping, the best team, not the injured team, but the best team.
Absolutely. We saw kind of a season of balance, a season of the duos started this at the start. Of course, COVID has changed the whole wide world, and almost in a flick, you saw a new crop really step up in that first round of the playoffs, especially. No disregard to D-Book for not making the playoffs, but the Lucas, the Jamals, just really these first, second year, third year players just are going to be a massive future for the league.
Absolutely. I mean, at the moment, this is LeBron James's league, and it will be probably for another couple of seasons. But the NBA can rest assured that the future, the next generation of stars is certainly strong. And like you say, some of the greatest moments that have happened in this bubble have come from very young players hitting buzzer beaters, leading their teams around the court. The NBA has got a really, really strong group, young group, a crop of players who are looking to take this into the next sort of 10, 20 years plus, especially if you look at how long LeBron's been playing. But it's been great. It's and really good. And I think also a big reason as to why there's a real young generation that follows the NBA along with the older crowd as well. I mean, we grew up watching Michael Jordan. It was the first time we had Sky Sport in New Zealand, and they played the Chicago Bulls, and all of a sudden there was more to life than just rugby, more to life than just cricket and rugby league. Like, these NBA stars were all of a sudden thrust in front of us, and we've had the likes of a Kobe Bryant. We've moved through to LeBron James, and there are so many other stars just waiting to take the throne once LeBron decides enough's enough. And it's exciting times, especially when you can see in the last week at least, where the NBA has even been leading the political discussions about the Black Lives Matters movement. And it's been amazing just how much sport and politics and life has now sort of integrated. And it's something I'm really passionate about as well, is that, I mean, very easily can we fall into the trap as sports fans of just looking at these players on our TVs and go, oh, you just knocked the ball on. We treat them like pieces of meat rather than human beings. And these players nowadays with their Instagram accounts and their Twitters, they're people, and they have feelings and they have thoughts on political matters as well. And it's good. It's refreshing to know that and we may disagree with them, and that's fine, but it's refreshing to know that we are watching people. These are people out there. They have feelings. They're upset when they hurt, when they lose, and all those kinds of things. It's very intriguing, and it's a step that I think if you fight against it and say shut up and dribble, you'll be left on the wrong side of history, because this is where sports is headed now. These people, these players, they're all their own company. They've got feelings, and they're not afraid to put them out there now.
Well, the world has looked upon athletes as that shut up and dribble, the entertainment. You guys are here to do that, but they do have voices. They do have millions of people behind them, and yes, it's good. They've literally stopped the world in a good way. I think escapism, we as fans use sport as escapism to a certain degree. Absolutely. We want to be entertained. We don't want to hear about this other stuff, because that's why we're watching sport. It takes us away from the other stuff. But, this is where we are now. This is where we are, that these players all have platforms far bigger than anything we could imagine. So when they have something to say and they want to say it, we don't have much choice but to listen and embrace it and engage it and start in the conversation. And it may make us feel uncomfortable, and it may not be the reason why we sat down to watch them in the first place. However, it is the new normal, and the sooner we get used to it, the better, because it's happening everywhere in every entertainment and every bit of escapism now. And I'm all for it. Like you say, the people, and it's good to know. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. Now you brought up LeBron, I'm going to ask, is he would you ever thought, probably actually, 17 he'd be in the MVP discussion, or is Giannis going to go back to back?
Well, it's a tough one, because Giannis at the moment, I know that they do say regular season is where they count the votes, and I see today that Ja Morant was named Rookie of the Year. I think I find it hard to believe that they only count, and I know I shouldn't, and maybe I'm going to be accused here of being a bit out there by saying it, but I actually think that the playoffs, and it does count, because I know that they announced the MVP of the season just before the finals, and that's how it runs. But I'm sure the playoffs do matter, and either or, Giannis or LeBron, you couldn't argue with either, right? Like, Giannis has played out of his skin. He's got Defensive Player of the Year. You wouldn't be surprised if he also gets the MVP. There's something about LeBron, though, that he's just over time. Yes. It's like a great red wine. He's just matured, and you find yourself listening to him, and I find myself liking him more and more and more. And I wouldn't be surprised who takes it out this season, because it's been broken up with this COVID-19 and the big stop down, and then there's a bubble where you get to play 8 games afterwards. Yep. and then into playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of them got it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised even if James Harden got in there and got it either. It's been a crazy season, and I'm just enjoying having the sport for me to be able to watch at great timings as well for New Zealand. Great times, midday, in the mornings, in the afternoons. There's basketball all the time.
Oh, the Chromecaster's got to work out in the office. That's for sure. Lastly, mate, I'm not going to ask you who's going to be our finalists, but who are we going to see in the final of the West and the East? Who do you reckon is going to be the last two remaining in both conferences?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an all LA conference finals in the West, because it's looking likely. Well, the Clippers have looked really, really strong. They beat the Mavericks in the first round 4-2. I would think they're too good and will get past the Nuggets, who struggled to get past the Jazz in that great Game 7 the other day. Yeah. So I'm thinking they will get through. So it'll be the Clippers and the Lakers. Again, the Houston Rockets are so hot and cold, like they can shoot you out of the building, or they can, or else they'll just be stone cold and you'll beat them by a long shot and you'll out rebound them. This Lakers team is ridiculously long as well in terms of rebounding and in the paint. They will match up so well against the Rockets. I can't see the Rockets getting past them. So on the west side, let's go Lakers, Clippers, and in the east, man, the Miami Heat they haven't lost a game yet in the series. Of course, they beat the Pacers 4-0. And now they're 2-0 up over the Bucks. So I'm going to have to go with Miami in this point. And then, of course, what a game today it was against the Boston Celtics. And the Toronto Raptors, last-second shot, hit a three. They had 0.5 seconds left on the clock. 0.5, that's not long enough to take a decent shot. Well, that's just a hit. Yeah. So they hifted up from 3 points to get back into the series. But whether that's one of those momentum changing series kind of things that happens, that 1 3-pointer changes the momentum, because of course the Celtics would have gone up 3-0 in that series, and I think that would have been curtains by then. I haven't answered in the East. Let's go with Miami, and let's just go with the Celtics. And so we've got a Miami Celtics Eastern Conference Finals, and on the Western side we've got an all LA Western Conference Finals, being the Clippers and the Lakers.
Interesting. I like it. Mate, lastly, we talked NBA today, but you talk all sports. So where can people follow you? What are your handles?
Right, yeah. So Marc Peard Sports. We're on Facebook, also on Instagram. So just go at Marc Peard Sports. And basically it's doing sport the entertainment way, where we have fun with covering the sports. We have fun with the athletes who come into the studios. We've got a nice brand new studio there at Eden Park, and we vlogcast over social media, and the whānau is growing. The community is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and exciting things to come. So yeah, Marc Peard Sports. I'd appreciate the follow. Appreciate you coming on and writing some comments. And Damian, always a pleasure having you on as well.
Oh, thank you, mate. I've been a day one, so keep up the fantastic work. As the kid that grew up down the road from Eden Park, I'm not jealous at all. But keep up the good work, man. Love it. And thanks for coming on to talk NBA.
No, you're a good man.